Hey aviation enthusiast, Mike Friend here, Director of Maintenance, A&P, IA, CFI, and CFII for D&J Aviation. Thank you so much for checking out our second video in the safety series. Today we'll talk about the pre-flight actions for the Piper Seminole. As always, the first item of interest is the checklist. Reviewing the checklist, the initial checklist complete, the exterior summary, and so forth. So right now, climb inside, activate our lights, drop the flaps, and press forward. Very similar to the other aircraft we inspect, this Seminole doesn't have ignition keys. So as always, it's very important that you ensure your magneto switches are in the off position. Of course, use your initial checklist for the Piper Seminole. First off, the mags are off. How we do it here at D&J, we call it out. Left engine, left mag off. Left engine, right mag off. Right engine, left mag off. Right engine, right mag off. Batteries off. Left, right alternators off. Left, right fuel pump is off. Mixtures are full lean. Pedostatic drains will drain those. Turning the master battery on, clear power. I have my 3 green, meaning the gear is down and locked. Of course, this is a pre-flight item to ensure that your bulbs are working. Flaps extend, clear flaps. 1, 2, 3, feels good. PDOT heat will test that, the stall, the lights, the fuel gauges, then our master can go off. So as for our lights, we have our landing light on, nav light on, strobe lights on. Very important with this, if your hangar has a fire suppression system, be cognizant about turning the strobes on, as it might actually activate that aqueous film forming foam system. Here, we don't have that type system, the flash system. Recog lights on, PDOT heat on, and we'll go out and check our stuff. So as we're going around inspecting the aircraft, I dropped my flaps. I'm gonna fill those, ensure they're good. But here's something very important. My lights are on and I'm running off the battery. I want to quickly do my walk around, check my PDOT heat, so I can turn that battery off and conserve the power. As I'm walking to the right wingtip, I'll check my strobes and my position lights. Strobe and position light is on. Pressing forward, light. Lights. Stall horns. Lights. Position light. Tail beacon. Lights check. I'll go turn off the power, conserve the energy. Now here's something interesting. I'll turn off the power, turn off all the switches. When I get around, I will then check my PDOT heat. Right now it's hot. It takes roughly 10 amps to get hot, which is a lot of flow, so it's really hot. Figuratively, by the time I get around there, it'll be warm. As always, we follow the checklist per the POH. You go around to the left or to the right, you inspect particular things. How I enjoy doing it here at D&J, I call it the flow. I will start here and I'll stop here once I get around the entire aircraft. I'll then use the checklist to back me up to ensure I haven't forgot anything. As we're here, the flaps, you want to ensure those are good and tight. We're always checking for cracks. This is our flap actuator, push-pull rod. The flap is held on by 3 pivot joints. All our ailerons, overall condition, ensure the skin is good, ensure you don't have any rivets lifted, missing, popped, and if you do, let your A&P know. How we inspect this is, we raise the flap, clear flight controls, raise it up, and I'm going to look down at my push-pull actuator to ensure that all my supporting hardware is here. Everything looks good. Now it's important to call clear flight controls. Oftentimes at flight schools, you might have other aviation enthusiasts outside around the aircraft that you're pre-flighting. If their hand just happens to be in a pinch point, or they're under the aircraft performing some sort of visual inspection themselves or learning, they might get bumped with the flight control. So again, it's very important to call clear flight controls when you're moving flight controls. Pressing forward, we get to the wingtip. Supporting hardware, this is old fiberglass. Ensure there's no holes and dents. The landing light, or correction, the position light and strobes, ensure those are tight. Now with this, for the minimal time it was on, it's actually warm, which is totally fine. It's a bright light. Pressing forward, supporting hardware, leading edge, dents, bird strikes, blood, fur, whatever it might be. As you all know, this creates the lift as it presses forward through the air. Transitioning on down, you have your fuel. Of course, always checking your fuel. Your engine oil, per the POH, what it should be at. If it's low, ask your A&P or use the school or flight school's curriculum on filling the oil. Supporting hardware on the nacelle upper and lower. Inspecting the cowl flaps to ensure those are tight and in place. I'm a big advocate for grabbing the exhaust and moving it left and right, ensuring that it is solid. Pressing forward, I come to the propeller. As our last video, you always want to ensure you treat this like a loaded gun. You don't want to start turning it. We have already confirmed our mags are off. So in theory, if I was to turn this, it would not start. But again, that's bad practice. You don't want to do that type of stuff. The leading edge, nicks, dents, gouges, scratches. If you find anything out of the norm, alert your A&P and let them know. A unique thing about the Piper Seminole is its counter-rotating prop. This actually rotates counterclockwise when you are sitting inside the aircraft. It's a phenomenal trainer for that reason and very stable when you do single engine operation. As I press forward to the landing gear, I'll inspect my brake pads, my wheels, the overall door to ensure everything is tight and in place how it should be. So as I'm inspecting the right landing gear, the overall condition of the tire, the brake pads, the brake hose, you want to ensure no fluid leakage is down here on the ground, all the supporting hardware, the proper strut distance, which can be found in your POH, the rig of the door to ensure everything is tight, your hinge, and overall condition of the door and the landing gear. On here you have proximity switches that tell you the gear is up and locked or down and locked. You just want to ensure everything is safety wired and in place as it should be. If you ever have any questions, ask your flight instructor or your local A&P mechanic. After inspecting the right gear, we're back in the position where we started. The leading edge of the wing, the door supporting hardware, the windows, the nose. We've already inspected the landing lights. Your ram air for your heater and just cooling air inside as you're transitioning forward. You want to ensure nothing's obstructing that screen inside. As we inspect the nose strut, you want to ensure the overall condition of the tire, the supporting hardware with the castle nuts and the cotter pins, the proper extension of the strut, the valve cap, cotter pins, all the supporting hardware. Similar to the right main landing gear, the proximity switches, and overall condition of the doors to ensure they're nice and tight. Similar to the right wing, once again, ensure all the supporting hardware is in place, the leading edge, dents, whatever it might be. The fuel at this time, the engine oil, it's all very similar. If you make this habit now and you do the exact same thing that you did on the other side, and every time you pre-flight an aircraft, when you don't do that, you'll actually catch yourself and realize, hey, something's not right. So the norm of doing it the proper way, very important. What is it? The law of primacy, what is learned first is learned best. Apply that rule to your everyday flying. Similar to the right wing, the left wing, we inspected in the same manner. Clear flight controls, raise it up. You would get underneath, inspect all the supporting hardware, pressing on. Our left flap, ensure it's good and tight. no cracks on the push-pull rod and the 3 points that it pivots on. As we press forward to the empennage, overall condition of the windows, the skin, ensure there's no twisting motion going in from an over-G or a stress. And another point I like to inspect is the lines of the paint. If I see any silver or stress, I know that the aircraft has probably been over-G'd during flight, and we'll need to do a particular type inspection. As I press forward, I look at the antennas, the VOR antenna, the empennage, the vertical stabilizer, the leading edge of the horizontal stabilizer, all the supporting hardware for the panels, the rudder, the push-pull cables and rods, ensure they have proper lube, as well as the trim tab to ensure that is tight. If everything inspects good, your aircraft is good. As we're pressing forward, we're inspecting the right side of the empennage, the VOR antennas, all the supporting hardware, the skin, the leading edge, ensuring there's no dents, no large cracks where this soft plastic might break off in flight, the ELT antenna, the skin, and lastly, we're back to where we started. What I now do is I go through the exterior summary and I review my checklist to ensure I've covered everything. And if I have, very important, I say exterior summary complete. I'm Mike Friend. Thank you so much for watching our safety series. Consider subscribing to the channel and like the video if you enjoy aviation content. Thank you for checking us out and see you next time.